check in with him. Just
Okay,
let him know
thing.
that you're done, but you got
You're
another
pointing
section.
at SES1. You're going to want to rotate your L and B over to the right side. In this area, you're going to be about 20. You're always going to look at the front of the collar. Don't look in the back here because there's no marker for it. So SES1 is going to, the L and B is going to be angled down. AMC 6, your L and B is going to be angled up, and it's going to be in the negative numbers. So in this area, it's about negative 14. So you're going to notice that your L and B is slightly angled up. You guys want to come up and take a look at the degree markers there. And it's very important that those are precise, because that will affect your crossball. Okay? When you tighten the screws, you just go a little bit at a time.
So you're going negative 14 for 6.
Right, and then positive 20.
Positive 20 for 1.
Somewhere around there, you guys will have to look. Go to dishpointer.com, type in your coordinates, take a look at the bottom of the page. You don't have to do it every job that you do.
Yeah, it
so
shows,
you get a general idea.
it level, yeah.
See, in my area, I know exactly what my coordinates should be. So if you look at the bottom, it's under dish data. You'll see, it'll actually show you an arrow of which way to rotate your L and B. So once you do that, just go behind the dish. Take your torpedo level, put it on top of the 2 nubs here. And then you want to just level out your dish. This is useful for a lot of the roofs that we go on are not level, or you'll have the mount that's kind of skewed at an angle or whatever, so it'll really affect that. Make sure you get it nice and level. If it's not level, it's going to affect your crossball. Okay? So if you're good there and your numbers are great here, then your crossball, whenever you call it back, should be in about every time. Okay? Now, if you're on a sloped roof, this thing will save you so much time and headache. Is put it right underneath of the armature of the direction that you're pointing, and then just allow the needle to bounce around and wait till it settles. And that will tell you how many degrees that you need to
Either add or take away.
Right. So if you're off 2 degrees, then you might have to add or subtract 2 degrees here. If you don't do that, you're not going to peak it in right. You're going to be there for a while fighting with it, and we've all done that. If you do that, it's going to be exact every time.
I can show you something else. Set it on the top there.
Yeah, you can put it. Are you talking about here?
Yeah, you don't
You can do that.
Take it away or add it.
You can do that, but the reason that I don't like doing that is because if you don't have these tights, it's going to throw you off, because that's going to rock forward. So here, this is always constant. This is always going to be the same. So once you get your degrees there, then you just turn your bird dog on. Then you just sweep until you can lock it on as high as you can get it. Once you find that spot, then you want to tighten these down. You can either go at a crisscross pattern or just back and forth, just a little bit at a time until you're completely tightened down. Once you do that, then adjust your elevation. Don't adjust your elevation before these are tight, okay? Because you're going to have to go right back and adjust it again. So you'll want to raise it up or lower it. Just find where that sweet spot is, where you can achieve the highest signal. Once you get to that point, then you can push the down arrow again, and then you'll see your dB reading. And then you might have to make a few minor adjustments just to peak that out as high as possible. Okay. When you go back in and you check your Ebno with the laptop or the IDU, if it's a lot lower than what it should be and you've already maximized everything possible, you'll want to install one of these anti-warp kits. Joe Testa and myself, we invented these. It'll save you from having to replace a reflector. And the kits cost about $350. This only costs about $10 with the labor to make them. So all you do is just take one of the washers off. Notice here on the reflector you'll see a patent stamp. In that same section, you're going to want to take your washer, just put it in the upper corner of the webbing, and then just either make a mark with a marker or just take your drill bit and just drill through. That's going to be a 1/4 inch drill bit, or you can use a step bit. Do the same exact thing on the opposite side in the same section. So it's actually going to be about halfway down the dish. Then what you do, take your turnbuckle, set it on top of the plate here. Try to center it out the best you can, and make a mark, or just take your drill bit and drill through the metal. Do not put any of the threads on top of the plate here, okay? Because whenever you loosen it and stuff, that's going to stop the turnbuckle from turning. So right at the edge of the threads is where you want to make your hole. Once you do that, take your eyelet, put one of the washers on. So you want to have one washer in the back, one in the front, and you have a 7/16 nut that you want to tighten down. I'm going to go ahead and do that on that side. One of you guys.
So you got it turned that way.
It's really not going to make too much of a
As
difference.
it doesn't.
If you rotate it up and down, it's going to take a little bit more slack out of the cable. It really doesn't matter. Then you want to attach your turnbuckle. Just the large washer goes on top. Then you have a small washer and a lock washer. Another guy asked if you could do it the other way around. That's fine. You want to put the nut on top. Okay, once you get that started, then you want to straighten your turnbuckle. And then just tighten it down as tight as you can get it. You can adjust your turnbuckle a little bit if you have to. Okay, once you get to that point, just turn your bird dog back on. If you want to come over and go ahead and turn that turnbuckle to put some tension on the cable, and watch your bird dog as you do it. And this dish isn't badly warped like a lot of them that we see out in the field. So if you see it going down, then you want to loosen it up a little bit and go as high as you can get it.
I suppose.
Okay. Once you get to there, then there again, just cycle over and see what your dB reading is. And then you can just tweak it a little bit more if you have to. Depending on how bad the dish is warped, I mean, you guys will really see a huge difference. Like if it's only peaks out at 30, you know, you might be able to get it up to 55.
Yeah.
Just depending on how bad it is. So this kit here can raise your ebno up to 3. I've seen 3.5 before.
Very good.
Yeah. Your cable that comes off the dish, a lot of times you'll see when it was installed, the cable will be coiled up here but be running across the blocks. What you want to do is change that up, because in the winter time when we have all the snow and we have to walk up to service the dish, you have somebody walk up and step on the edge of the cable and it could break it, and we might come out 3 or 4 times before we know what the real problem is. So what you want to do is you want to take your cable,
You can eat off my seats.
and then attach it to your mount in the front.
Hey, while I'm thinking about it.
So that way nobody's stepping on it.
That's another thing that, since you work up there,
It's,
in the tough area,
what about the grounding? Is the grounding important?
stop buying that copper clad cable.